Okay. I've been giving a lot of thought in the last couple of weeks with how I wanted to really clarify my thoughts around everything that's happening, and not just now in this moment, but in this time and in this space around racial injustice and around injustice in general. And I've said a few things to this case that were very vague when it comes to social media, and there has been kind of poking and prodding for me to really be more direct and not so vague in my statements. And that is around the fact that I'm speaking to a global climate, not just when we're talking about social and racial injustice, and we're talking about Black Lives Matter movements and movements around discrimination. And so I spent the time to write down my thoughts. And so I'm just going to read what I've wrote, and I'm going to make mistakes. And I could be much more informed on this matter, but this is what's important for me to say. And so I just ask that you listen and actually listen the whole way through. And if you agree with me or you don't agree with me, that's perfectly fine. I would just love to open up a compassionate dialogue with people on both sides. I don't want there to be sides, but there seems to be sides, and I would like to open up communication on both sides and learn to communicate with one another and come to some kind of understanding and an ability to relate, or at least understand one another. What I want to say, what I want to convey, is going to come out wrong in some ways, I am sure. I will make mistakes in language, and I am not as informed on this matter as I could be. There are people with more power whose words will spread to more ears that can affect more change than myself. My thoughts come from my conditions. I grew up in poor America along Mexicans and Black Americans, and being raised in poor America isn't easy, but being raised in Black America is a whole different kind of monster. Some of you will understand where I come from when I speak the words that I do, because you can relate. And some of you will condemn me because you take action in other ways. And this is part of raising your voice. You don't win everyone's popular opinion. What I'm about to say is my perspective, and there are many others. This is part of speaking your truth. It's owning what you know and also what you do not know. So I'm going to own what I know and also say that there's so much more that I do not know. Not everyone will agree with you, but some people will learn from what you say, and some will be inspired to stand up as well. They might have different ways of coming to the same goal, and that's okay. That's the point. We need more people on stage and less people sitting in the audience. Humans have, since the beginning of time, chosen sides. We have separated ourselves since the beginning, right and wrong. We believe wholeheartedly in our beliefs, our religions, and our perceptions of a seemingly separate world. We fight for our side, we kill for it, and we bash those who speak against it. We say incredibly awful and dividing things that can't be taken back. We scar one another with a language that I can only imagine our ancestors created to bring us together. What a shame. The brilliance of universal language is squandered on hatred and division. It's a tragedy, I believe, and I know our history. I understand that change does not come with inaction. To create transformation, there tends to be destruction as well. Transformation of the old and in with the new. But what about breaking old habits? Is this possible? We have seen action destroy entire cultures, countries, and millions of people. Our perceptions of separation have also cost us hope, trust, safety, unity, and compassion. Instead of a strong global family, we have lost our morals and become warriors of meaningless wars. A war of skin color? Why? What a waste of intelligence. We are better than this. We are fighting over something that makes us no different than red apples and green. Terrible example, but I am imperfect. We are fighting over color when we are literally sinking our world's resources, polluting our skies and oceans, and tearing one another apart. Addiction, abuse, suicide, starvation, murder plague our society, and we are standing around judging people on their skin color. And why is it taking us so long to see our ignorance? What I will say is we all have the right to be angry. I am happy that more and more are. I am grateful that people are waking up, that people are fighting for change. And also, I do not condone violence revenge for violence. I think there are other ways to use our anger for good. It's not all about all the white people are this and all the black people are that. It's about the fact that a large portion of our world climate has to fight to live each day without being stereotyped and profiled. There are people that each day have to deal with the scrutiny of just walking their streets and not feeling safe to be in their own skin. If someone's knife is at your throat, I do expect you to fight. But if your people, which is all of our people, are being targeted, then instead of picking up a knife to kill everyone affiliated with that perpetrator, pick up a megaphone and preach compassion. I'm seeing so many different ways of fighting this injustice of race. I see sheriffs putting down their batons and marching with the people, and I see people in enforcement that are meant to protect us, instead denying equality and justice and targeting people because of their skin color. Not all police enforcement are monsters, but some are. But we need to stop generalizing entire groups of people. If you are white or privileged and you are out with signs condemning the entire police force or the entire white race or the privilege, you are not fighting for unity, you are creating more separation. Facebook bullying and social media tirades of snide memes knocking people down for not being enough or doing enough is this fight for justice just isn't the answer. It's as ignorant as schoolhouse bullying. We all want the same thing, some of us at least on this side. And we need to fight. And there is no need to fight our own peers who believe in similar outcomes as you, but want to get there using different strategies. Please stop wasting energy separating who's a better social justice warrior. This should not be a fight of us and them. This is a fight of the system. When someone targets in the name of race, they are miseducated, fearful, and ignorant of what they are doing. They are products of a broken society. Instead of hating them, it's my belief that we should show them even more compassion and educate them. And every single racist comment they spout, every hate crime they commit, we march again and again and speak again and again to their pain, their ignorance, and hatred. To fight back with hatred will not end the cycle of this mindset. These issues are rooted so deeply in the psyche that we are creating a cyclic system of hating, breeding hatred. Those who have racist beliefs will raise racist children, create racist communities, and fight for racist agendas. So I want to sit at the same table as them. I want to have tea, and I want to ask what their fear is and where it stems from. I want to tell them my own story of an inclusive society that welcomes everyone and leaves no one behind. I want to talk to the criminal and ask what the crime is for. What do they hope for by achieving, or what do they hope to achieve by hating someone for their skin color? Who is it protecting, and what does it serve? I know many of you will say that this isn't enough, and I'm not saying I want to befriend racists, but they are humans and they exist all around you. They have grown up in certain conditions that have created the mental blueprint of how they react to the world. They were born, they feel suffering and happiness, they've experienced loss, and they will die. They aren't so different than you, but they need to update their operating system. So I want to have conversations like adults on either side. And I want us to time and time again have patience, because racism isn't going to disappear overnight. And you will not turn a racist into a Buddhist in an hour lunch session. It takes patience and a lot of holding space for a large amount of suffering to be bled out of a very flawed system. We've been creating this system for centuries, and it's reached the brim. We are now at a time when we can either effect change through new measures, or we continue to act like barbarians, tearing one another to shreds. And for those of you wanting peace and justice for Black lives, you do not need to tear your communities apart with finger pointing, blaming, and martyrdom to contribute. Educate compassionately every single day. Surrounding yourself with like-minded individuals who are conscious and wanting unity is not going to help the issue. This is about going across the lines and talking to the person you were just throwing stones at and finding common ground and a way to relate. We need new methods. This culture of bullying isn't working, especially on these online platforms. And if you truly just hate people because of their skin color and it's not the same as yours, wake up. We don't have a choice in our skin. If you were born into privilege, have some compassion for those who didn't. And those saying Black people are barbaric because they are protesting in the streets like animals, well, have you ever had to fight for the right just to exist in the world? Then you do not know their pain. Again, I don't condone the violence, but I will listen and I will do my best to understand, to educate myself and become an ally to those who feel unwelcome in our global society. I won't do it perfectly, and my words may not matter to you, but they matter to me. And if you aren't speaking up because you think no one cares what you have to say, you should care, just you. If they don't hear you and they judge you and they point fingers, if you're speaking out for us to be us and to come home to unity, then stand the fuck up and be courageous. If you lose a few friends along the way, so be it. It's time to stop sitting and watching the world cry. We need to get up and lend an ear. I'm here. I won't throw stones or break windows or tell you I'm right and that you're wrong. I won't bully you through Facebook threads and hate you. I will continue time and time again to have patience and compassion. And when you give me hatred, I will love you anyway. I will continue to give love and compassion every single day. And if it takes a lifetime to slowly begin to shift even a family of mindsets, that will begin to breed new liberated thought into a broken society, I will feel I've made a difference. If we each did this, imagine the change. It won't happen overnight, and it will take a fucking ridiculous amount of patience for ignorance. But I honestly believe some people will have no choice to wake up if you continue every single day to tell them again and again, I'm on your side. I've got your back. You don't need to be afraid anymore. I'm not the enemy. You do not need to hate me. We are not so different. To all my friends out there who are afraid, who feel othered, who feel judged for the color of their skin, tell me, how do I support you the best? How can I protest compassionately on your behalf? Your life is my life, and it's worth a fight, and we can do so without throwing stones. So tell me, give me the tools, give me the education. I'm awake and I'm listening. Thank you.